Hello, this is Karen Squires with Stampin' by the Bay, and today we're going to go ahead and make this shaker square easel card. All right, we're going to do the real red with the crumb cake and mossy meadow. I had done another one which uses the Lost Lagoon and soft sky and a vellum with the snowflakes. I'm trying to think of the name, and this is the smoky slate. But I like the crumb cake, I think, more. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. Okay, to start with, right now we have a piece of crumb cake. And this crumb cake is 4 1/4 by 9 3/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2 and 7 3/4. And the reason why it's shorter is because I wanted the saying to show up down here. I didn't need it to be as big. This is just for the easel to stand up, so it's not a full length of a card. Okay, and I think most everyone has done an easel card, but that's how you attach it. You attach that one folded flap there. Okay. So go ahead and reinforce your score lines. Okay. And the next piece we have a piece of mossy meadow, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And a piece of Whisper White, this is the thick cardstock, which this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Okay, and with this, we're going to go ahead and stamp the top saying for the inside of the card. I switched it up a little bit. I put saying from Cozy Christmas in here, but of course you can use whatever Christmas one that you want. Okay, and we're going to use the Real Red ink. This one I have the Gift of Love, the Gift of Peace, the Gift of Health and Happiness. I'm using that one, and that's from the Versatile Sayings or Versatile Christmas. It's all the sayings in this year's holiday catalog. You want to just stamp that up at the top part of your card so there's enough room to sign. And this piece is a piece of the Merry Moments DSP, and you can either use the paper stack that is on the end of the year sale, or you can use the 12 by 12 paper. This piece of DSP is 3 3/4 by 1 3/4, and it's going to go all the way down at the bottom and meet up flush with the Whisper White. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and attach this to the piece of the Mossy Meadow. Now, this Mossy Meadow is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and take the Mossy Meadow ribbon, and I'm going to go ahead and faux tie this, and I'm going to faux tie it so it's off centered. And this piece of ribbon is, I think, about 10 inches you can use. If I'm using it by myself, I wait and tie it and then cut it the length that I want. Okay. Okay, so for the same, this piece of Whisper White is a 1 inch by 3 3/4, and it's going to go right, this is not it. Sorry, this is the 1 inch by 3 3/4. I'm going to lay right in here. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it. If you wanted to, you could use the Merry Christmas from the Versatile Saying or Christmas stamp set. That fits here well, but I do like this, the Merry Christmas to You and Yours. It's a Hostess stamp set. It's the 6 sayings. Oops. And it's the Real Red ink. All right, so that's for the inside of the card. So the card is done, that part. Okay, next we are going to go ahead and assemble the card. I misplaced my pieces for some reason. This piece of crumb cake is the piece that we're going to go ahead and stamp on. And this piece is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch square. Next, we are going to also need a Real Red squares. This is the square framelets. This is the largest one, which is the scallop. Now this is, you need one, which is solid. And then you need the other one. And this one, you actually run them through both together. You can put the square framelet with the scallops around on the piece of Real Red paper. And then you want to do the third size in. So the next one would be here. So you want to go the next size down. So it's not the following step. It's 2 sizes difference to cut this square out. Okay. So you have those pieces. The window sheet, this piece here is the square, which is the 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, and this is what we're going to use for the snow. I'll show you that. Okay, so this White Christmas for the trees, it's very hard to get a good impression if you do not use your paper piercer or some type of foam underneath it. Okay, so you want to slide this in here. And you can use early espresso ink, or I have here VersaFine black ink. This is my favorite black ink. I know Stampin' Up! Does not sell it, but I end up using it more when I'm trying to get a nice crisp image that I'm not getting with my other ink pads. My other multiple black ink pads. So we're going to go ahead and ink this stamp up. And we're going to go ahead and put this in the center of your piece of crumb cake. Okay, so we have that. Before we put this away, what we want to do is I have this piece, a scrap piece of Whisper White, and this scrap piece of Whisper White is 3 3/4 by about 2 inches. And what I do is I take this and I stamp it with the trees, and we cut it out to fit on here, and that's your snow. Okay, it's kind of almost like a mask, but not. So you don't need the full impression. Okay, you have this here. So you can kind of almost line it up with your stamped crumb cake piece. Okay. So you put that aside. With the VersaFine, you just kind of have to make sure you have to give it a second to dry. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is I added the little bird on the tree branch. So go ahead and stamp that as well with the VersaFine ink. Okay. And the snowman, I'm going to go ahead and wait to stamp him because we want to stamp him when this is attached. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and cut along the snowbank. And if it doesn't quite match up, you can go ahead and just trim the excess off of this before you go any further with it. Okay. So for this little scrap here, it's enough space. We're going to go ahead and stamp the tree one time. I mean the snowman one time. You're going to stamp him off so he's partly in the snow and then not. And then we're going to stamp him one more time here on the scrap. And you want to kind of, usually I say do not rock your stamps, but since this is raised, you want to, you know, as you press at the bottom and then gently rock a little bit forward to get the full impression. Okay. All right. So this is this one so far. And we are going to cut out this snowman. I know it's kind of a pain, but when you cut them out, you do not need the arms. So but you do want the scarf. Next, you're going to need your early espresso marker, your real red marker, and your pumpkin pie marker. Now, if you don't have these colors, you can use anything similar. And for the trees, I like to, especially since it's two-toned, I like to go ahead and cover or touch up the center of the trees with the early espresso marker. And you can use the brush tip or the fine tip. I'm very light-handed, so I'm comfortable with using the brush tip. It really depends on how heavy your hand is. If you have a heavy hand, you really may want to try to use the fine tip instead. Well, arms were not quite showing. Okay, so we have this part down now. Next, what we're going to go ahead and do is the little snowflakes that are in the White Christmas stamp set. I'm going to go ahead and grab those, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp it using the Whisper White craft ink. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and randomly stamp. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab the Dazzling Diamonds glitter. And also, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this glue to the bottom. Oops, this one's not. To the bottom of this. You don't need to go too far down because you're going to have it, you want to make sure the glue sticks to it. The adhesive to seal up the shaker card. Okay, so just using that craft ink with the glitter, it sticks to those snowmen, and it actually will stick a little bit to the trees as well. Okay, of course I get glitter everywhere. Okay, so next what we are going to do is attach the window card. So first we're going to take your square frame, and I use the sticky strip or score tape. I have 1/8 of an inch is what I like to use. It doesn't it's enough to seal it, but you can use the 1/4 of an inch if you want. But I think with the window sheets, you definitely need some strong adhesive. Glue does not work, nor does the snail. What I used to go around this is I cut off strips of fun foam. I had some scraps that were left over, and I said, you know, why don't I use this because it's easier to actually really maneuver, and you can get in, you can shape it better. Then I know I could take a piece of fun foam and cut out the square, but I found this to be really easy. But you need to make sure you get in those edges very well, and you want to make sure you also cover up whatever adhesive you have on the top of that window sheet, because if not, your glitter is going to stick to it. Okay, so that one's real good. I'll go back and trim this, and I'm going to get in here and go real close. Where's the adhesives on there? Okay, so the next thing, before I add my glitter to this, I go ahead and attach the tape again, because you don't, if you get glitter on the foam and then you attach the tape, it won't make a good seal. So you want to go ahead and attach the tape again. And this time I'm going wider. I'm going to 1/4 of an inch because I want to make sure that I have it all covered, because I really do not want that glitter to be falling out. Okay, so we have this here, and there is some open spots, so I want to make sure I don't get any glitter. So I grab, about this much from the Dazzling Diamonds. And that's usually enough. If you go overboard, you might not see your snowman, and it also depends on how high he is and so forth. So you just want to go ahead and peel this off. Okay, and since there's no right or wrong way for that one, and go ahead and lay this on top. And try to make it as even as possible, and really press down your seam, or make sure you seal it well. Okay, and I think you can check it and make sure you got all those corners correct. Yep. Okay. So the next thing is I went ahead, and that's what this solid piece is. I wanted, see how it looks in the back? I wanted it to be even, the card to even look finished from the back side. So that is one reason why I did a full one. I like, the finishing touches mean a lot to me. Okay. So you want to go ahead and make sure that this lines up with the scallops, so it's even. Okay. And it did. Now the key for this, to attach this to your card, is if you go up too high with this, it's, of course you're going to have it not show. But if you go up too high, it won't fit in the regular envelope, and you want it to fit. So when you attach this, you want to make sure you can kind of see the card behind it, or even if you want to be real sure, you can actually lower it down even more so you don't see as much. All right. I had luck with it with like this. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is you just put the glue here, and that gives you some leeway to move it around just a little bit. So I'm going to turn this sideways so I can see. See, I can see the edge of the card there. And then I'm going to pick up and just press that flap, make sure that glue is attached. All right. So you can see the snow. You can shake it and see it, and it sometimes gets stuck with the snowman and everything, and that's fine. Looks like he's in a blizzard. All right, so that will fit. And the only thing I added was the little saying, "Baby, it's cold out here," and that's my favorite. One of my favorite things from last year's Project Life is this Holiday Cheer stamp set. I don't really do that much with Project Life, but I love these little sayings in here because I thought they were perfect for, again, the little circle punch and stuff. So that's where the Baby It's Cold outside comes from, and it's called Project Life Holiday Cheer, and I do believe it is retired. I guess maybe if you can find it, someone's selling it or not, I'm not sure. I'm going to stamp this with real red on a scrap of Wistful Right. Oops, I think there's something on mine. Hold on. Okay. And I am going to punch out with my 1-inch circle punch. It's not going to get all the little snowflakes, but I'm mainly just getting the saying. Okay. And then the 1 1/4 inch scallop circle punch fits nicely around that. I'm going to punch that out in the Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to actually attach the glue on the corner of my frame. Okay, so there you have it. That is the White Christmas Square Shaker card, easel card. Oh, a mouthful. All right, and again, the White Christmas stamp set, if you're looking for it, and if you weren't around the holidays last year, this White Christmas stamp set is in the annual catalog, not in the holiday catalog. It was carried over. I'm not sure if it's going to be one that's going to be carried over again the following year or not. Usually they don't do that. So if it is one that you like and you haven't purchased it yet, you may want to. All right, but there you go. Thank you for watching. It's Karen Squires with Stampin' by the Bay.